interrupt this program to bring you a special presentation from Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas, turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh, my.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Top for Owaka. Spin move in the lane, turns, put it up, score it. Nifty move by Tobe Owaka. High left to Love. Corner, Bryant for three. Carter drains Alexis the Tucson Charity three.
Carter Bryant, we talked about his activity level. He was rebounding. He was getting to the free throw line before he nails that first tray for him.
Inbounds Love left corner. Threes have been good for him tonight. And there's another one for Caleb Love.
The assist should go to Tobe Owaka. He absolutely set a great wall of China screen on that defender.
Over to Lloyd, right corner. Whiteman steps left, shoots, banked it in for three. Another one of the seniors, and the fans love it. And the Wildcats will win their 19th game, go to 13-4 in league play. They beat Utah tonight. Give the Utes credit. You know, we didn't know emotionally what they'd be like coming into this bowl game with, Craig Smith dismissed on Monday, and they were down by 14 at halftime, but, they played hard, and they should be proud of that.
It is basketball night in Ames, Iowa. That is where your number 22 Wildcats will be tonight to take on the 9th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones. And I don't know if this is an omen of bad things to come, but I was sitting in my office about 30 minutes ago, and I swear I thought a tornado was coming through our parking lot. You know that rumbling kind of like freight train sound? I swear that's what I was hearing, and I'm thinking to myself, what is that? And it kept getting louder and louder and louder, so I get up and I walk over to the door, and it's like just a total windstorm. I don't think it was a haboob coming through. I've never been around. I seem to always be gone when the haboobs come through here, but it was something close to that, and I start thinking to myself, Cyclones. I hope this is not a bad omen for your Arizona Wildcats tonight, that we've got probably one of the most windiest days that we have had here in southern Arizona in a long, long time. So hopefully it won't be. Arizona, Iowa State, the rematch tonight in Ames, Iowa, a place at the Hilton Coliseum that the Arizona Wildcats opened for business many moons ago, way back in 1971. What is that, if my math is correct? 54 years ago in this past, 53 years ago if you count the fact that it happened during the 71-72 season. And this is the 24-25 season. But the Wildcats are back for the first time as a Big 12 opponent. Welcome to the show. I'm David Kelly. We will have Kelvin Ifan coming up a little bit later. We've got J.W. Madden here as well. And we are going to tell you all about Arizona basketball and what is to come for the next 3 hours. Here is what is in store.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right. We'll review the game against Utah. A light night, somewhat, at McHale Center earlier this Wednesday. Also take our first look at Iowa State. Our first look at the game is always brought to you by Window Depot. Who's your spotlight on a cap? How about Trey Townsend? We'll hear from him on not being in the starting lineup currently and how he is adjusting to his new role since coming back from his concussion. College basketball scoreboard always filled on Saturday. Goldberg and Osborne brings you that. They are the injury lawyers. John Walters will join us with your scouting report. He is the play-by-play man for the Iowa State Cyclones. And your scouting report is always brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. All of that coming up and more for you over the course of the next 3 hours. We've got you to 6:30. All right, we're going to talk a lot of basketball on this show, but I want to start out on the diamond because something pretty incredible happened last night down in Texas.
Yeah, that bullpen thing, when you can set your bullpen up like that.
That one ripped to left, back to the Crawford boxes, and it's gone. Aaron Walton, after a couple of strikeouts, takes Prager deep, and he cuts this A&M lead in half in one swing with his second home run of the season, and that's a lift for the Arizona dugout. A chopper to the left side, and the pass away from Hensley. The run will score. Arizona's taken a 3-2 lead. Laviolette waits on a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout. Arizona scores 2 in the ninth, and they hold on for a 3-2 win, taking down Texas A&M. What a win for Arizona.
What a win indeed for your Arizona baseball team, beating the number 1 team in the country and coming from behind to do so to kick off the Foundation Classic down in Houston, Texas. 3-2, the final score. They hand the number 1 team in the country their third consecutive loss. So they'd come into that Texas A&M started the season 5-0. Then they lost to Cal Poly and Texas State those games were at home before losing to the Wildcats in the Astros Foundation College Classic. Our guy hit one into the Crawford boxes. Those are those seats that are way up on top of the wall at what I guess they call it Dakin Park now. It's no longer what I think it was. I can't remember what it was before. Minute Maid. I think there used to be Minute Maid Park. Now it's Dakin Park. You can't keep up with all the corporate changes of these stadiums across Major League Baseball. It's just impossible. But he hit that. But we know they didn't change the name of the Crawford boxes, folks. And those are the ones that sit up there by where the train is. That was a shot, to say the least, for the Arizona Wildcats and our guy Aaron Walton. We really don't know a lot about him. He's a center fielder. One of the no names, the newer names that we're getting to know on this team. But what a huge win after they went down 2-0 and came from behind. J-Dub, this team knows how to rally. We learned that last year, and there's a whole ton of guys that are back in that offense that know a 2-0 lead in the 6th is nothing to worry about.
I have an entire folder on this computer in front of me that has nothing but walk-offs from last year, and it's a very full folder. The biggest thing I learned from that is that Texas State University exists. I mean, there are so many schools in Texas that are famous and, that we hear about consistently. I think going into the season, a lot of people had high expectations for this Arizona team. What did they start? 1-3?
0-3.
In that tough tournament.
They lost games down there.
To a whole bunch of top 25 teams, which is. But, sometimes it's really about those late-game heroics, how much you believe in your squad. We've seen it time and time again, never giving up hope and finding a way, getting bat on the ball and just getting a guy on base, finding a way to get him to second, getting him home. Huge win for the program, and obviously momentum builder when you can beat the top-ranked team, even if they're lost their last 3 games, DK. Top-ranked just means that they're one of the 10 best teams in the country throughout the season. So, huge win yesterday, and good momentum building thing moving forward with those first 3 losses in the season. Still surely have to be in the back of their mind, DK.
Now, we talked about it, J-Dub. We talked about this weekend and how it was going to be 3 straight games against ranked teams from the SEC. So the second of those games being played as we speak against Mississippi State, and it's off to a good start already. The fellas up early on top of the Bulldogs from Mississippi State. Last check, it was 3-1. We'll keep you updated on that game. Arizona women's basketball is going to be starting here shortly up in Tempe against Arizona State. We'll also keep you up to date on what's happening up there as they wrap up their regular season as well. All right, let's get, though, into the nitty-gritty of basketball and what happened on Wednesday night over at McHale Center for the Arizona Wildcats and their 83-66 win over the Utah Utes. Carter Bryant, after the ball game, felt like Utah played well despite the fact that they were dealing with the firing of their head coach, Craig Smith, dismissed on Monday, and the team came in here on Wednesday and put up a really good fight, Carter thought.
No, not necessarily. I think they did a great job of just coming out and competing at the end of the day. That's all you can ask for, especially in a situation like that. They came out, competed to the best of their abilities tonight, and, I mean, props to them. They have really good players and a good coaching staff.
Indeed, they do. It was a game in which the Wildcats at one point were up by 23 points in the second half. And like we've seen with a lot of teams, they didn't go away. They fought their way back before losing. Tommy Lloyd, though, the one thing that kind of stood out to him, and really stood out to all of us, because we've talked about this team's ability to foolishly at times throw the ball away in unnecessary circumstances, but they did not really do that on Wednesday night. Just 7 turnovers for the Arizona Wildcats. That's a number that Tommy Lloyd would like to see a whole lot more this season.
Yeah, we had 2 in the first half. We had 7, and we've really been talking about taking care of the ball. And I think for the most part, our guys are doing a good job as a team taking care of the ball. I think we've just been having some individual lapses. So we really kept trying to focus on, not as a team, but more as individually. Like, if each one of you could take away that one turnover, that one habit that you're having, the individually, collectively, that'll mean a lot. And so I think our guys did a good job of that. I think individually is better, but 7 turnovers in a 40-minute game that's a great thing, and that's a winning formula for us.
Absolutely is a winning formula. The defense was on point as well for the Arizona Wildcats. Toby Awaka liked the way that the guys rebounded off the loss to BYU and took it down to after giving up 96 points to really put it to the Utah Utes.
I thought it was good. Obviously last game was tough. But the fact of the matter is that we gave up 90-plus points. So defensively, we had a lot of areas to improve in, and I thought we responded well today. JB, Caleb chasing 55 around the court, do all those screens. Henry blocking shots, contesting shots, being in help, playing great paint defense. Stuff like that. I thought we really improved in.
Toby Awaka after the game the other night. We are joined by the third member of our team, Kelvin Ifan, is with us. Kelvin, I want to go back to the 7 turnovers. That's a huge, huge improvement. Now, again, it's just one game. And like Tommy always likes to say in terms of his individuals, hey, you had a great game tonight. Guess what? You got to do it again on Saturday. But if they could continue to stack those types of numbers under 10 in the turnover department, man, this offense just gets considerably that much better.
Exactly. More opportunities to score the ball because you're not turning the ball over. More opportunities to get back and set your defense. When you don't turn the ball over, you can get back and set your defense and make it tougher for the offense to score. So, yeah, anytime that you can have a game where you only had 7 turnovers, that's a great game. Now, I will put an asterisk besides that and say that Utah isn't a pressure team. They're not really a team that have the type of athletes that can get up in you and turn you over. But I still think that 7 turnovers is good for the team morale, especially coming off some games where they had a couple too many turnovers. You do want to keep it right there below 10 because at the same time, you do want your guys to still stay aggressive. You don't want to be so passive to where you miss opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be important. And when you talk about the guards, you want your guards clicking on all cylinders as you go forward with this thing and really doing everything possible to get the ball in the right people's hands and to take care of it as well as possible. Also in that ball game, just a tremendous performance from one Caleb Love. 23 points. 50th time in his career he has scored at least 20 points in a game. 6 3-pointers made in 12 attempts for Caleb Love. Raised his ceiling of play, says Tommy Lloyd.
Caleb obviously gives us a higher ceiling. and he plays with that energy and focus at both ends of the floor, obviously we're a better team. You probably could say that for a bunch of other guys on our team too. But when guys play well and we play well, and so Caleb was a standout tonight, and other guys have been standouts on other days.
And the Wildcats needed that because they got a little bit of a wrinkle from the Utah Utes in that ball game. They saw a little triangle in two that the Utes threw at them under their interim head coach, Josh Eilert. Tommy, on how he felt the guys handled that.
I mean, listen, a little bit. I mean, maybe a little bit casual, but they were throwing a lot at us. They're going down, switching defenses every possession. And, this time of year, you're playing teams, and, the deeper you get into March and this time of year, teams are pretty set in the ways they do things. And obviously there's a little curveball here. And, I had not seen him play much triangle in two, but I also knew Josh, and he's been in this situation before. He went through it last year at West Virginia. Sometimes when you're in that role, you can come in and throw pitches that maybe aren't in your repertoire. And he did that today. And so that kind of made the game feel a little bit disjointed, but I'm proud of the way our guys handled it. Listen, I could have coached it different. I could have called timeouts and started getting on the whiteboard and all this stuff, but I'm fine that we struggled a little bit. We got the win. We dealt with a little bit of adversity. Hey, maybe now next time if somebody tries a triangle and two on us, we can address it a little bit and be a little bit more familiar with it.
Kelvin, you've played much of that style of defense?
Yeah, I mean, when you're going against a team that has superior talent, you have to come up with whatever you have to come up with. And basically a triangle in two is you put your two best defenders on their two best offensive players. Usually it's the point guard and their best scorer. And then you triangle with your other three defenders. You have a guy at the free throw line or at the top of the key, or two guys on the box, and they play out from there from the zone.
Unless you're at Loyola, Maryland. Because one time they played triangle and two against Davidson, but they put the two on Steph. And he didn't get a single shot up. He scored 0 points that game because Steph Curry was killing everybody. Exactly. So they ran triangle and two and put two guys on double team Steph Curry the entire game. It's such a rarity. I mean, you see a lot more junky matchup zone than you'll see that specific because, again, it's going to how do you rebound out of that, right? I mean, that's the biggest problem. There's so many problems that come with the triangle two formation for a team. It worked so well against Arizona in that 97 tournament, right, or 98 tournament with Utah because they had the athletes and the center that could do it. This particular Utah team, like Kelvin said, they didn't have the athletes to match up one-on-one with JB and with Caleb, and so that's why they went to that direction. I think it was just the new coaching staff, new interim guy coming in, Kelvin, and saying, let me just try to throw a little wrinkle towards the Wildcats that they might not have seen before, see if we can't junk it up a little bit. But I think Arizona's got enough freedom with its guards. Its guards are given enough freedom. They've seen it. They understand how to react to things. As long as guys are knocking down shots and you're getting rebounds out of that, it's not really too bad to deal with, unless you're talking like Houston-level athletes and that kind of thing, which is a different animal altogether.
It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. If you want to get in on the program, call us or text us. We'd love to talk Arizona basketball with you. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. Kelvin Efon is here. J.W. Madden is here. And we are glad that you are with us as well. Taking you right up, tip-off, 7 o'clock in Ames, Iowa, at the Hilton Coliseum. Brian Jeffries, Reggie Geary will have the call right here on Wildcats Radio 1290, 107.5 FM K-Hit. Much more coming up for you. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour one of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Postal Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
As a team, these are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and a spider, a scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Most plumbing problems start with a four-letter word: drip, leak, clog. Whatever your plumbing problem might be, you can trust Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to deliver fast, honest, and reliable service by a plumbing expert that will find the right solution for your plumbing problems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Discover Rocking K, a community designed by nature, built for you. Embrace the beauty of the Rincon Mountains' high desert foothills. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park. Bordering Saguaro National Park, Rocking K is conveniently located to our region's major employers and nationally recognized Vail School District. Tour 10 model homes by 4 award-winning builders and discover why more people are calling Rocking K home. LiveRockingK.com. Proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Back the other way, quickly to Bryant. Carter to the bucket, put it up and good.
A strong move for Carter. Took a hit from J.T. Toppin and laid it in.
Time now to take our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. Arizona and Iowa State tonight in Ames, Iowa. Wildcats lead the all-time series with the Cyclones 5-3. They've won the last 4 games in a row. Arizona took the contest earlier this year here in Tucson in overtime, 86-75. You'll remember how that game ended with Caleb Love heaving a 55-footer to send the game to overtime. And then Love and Carter Bryant hitting a pair of big threes. Well, really 3 big threes because Love hit 2 and Bryant hit 1 in overtime to stretch the margin of victory to 11. Last time Arizona played in Ames, Iowa, December 5th, 1983. So it has, we mentioned at the top of the show, the Wildcats opened Hilton Coliseum in 1971. And then they went back 12 years later in 1983, but that is the last time they were there. That was 41 years ago. Last time that the Wildcats played Iowa State on their home floor. It will happen again tonight. Carter Bryant is expecting a dogfight.
We expect nothing less than a dogfight. Great basketball team, great coaching staff. So we're just going to go in and play as hard as possible. We're going to be locked in defensively, offensively, understand our schemes and coverages and their personnel and tendencies. We're just going to go out and hope for the best.
And obviously these two teams, again, have seen each other once before, but there's some changes. At least one player, when you talk about Milan Momocilovic, who was not with Iowa State. He was injured the last time these two teams got together. He will be back in the lineup tonight. So Iowa State, a different look than what the Wildcats saw when they won by 11 here in Tucson.
Bruce, the same thing I've told you the last 8 weeks. We got 2 days to prepare. We're going to start practice tomorrow, preparing for Iowa State. We'll continue that preparation, Friday, and then and fly there and get there and get settled in. Saturday, we'll have a shoot around and let's go. I mean, it's going to be an awesome. I'm excited. I mean, we're excited to go, see what this deal is all about. Obviously, we've heard a lot about it, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And I'll guarantee you, their fans have something waiting for us. Probably more than just Caleb. And that's awesome. We're here for it.
Obviously, they have dealt with more injuries since that game here in Tucson. Keyshawn Gilbert has missed the last 2 contests. Their fabulous point guard, Curtis Jones, who also had a nice game here in Tucson. He was sick, missed the game last Saturday in Houston, but was back for their loss the other night at Oklahoma State. TJ Olsberger on his roster as it stands heading into tonight.
I mean, obviously Kurt's back. I mean, he's good to go. I know it wasn't his best game the other night, but I mean, there wasn't anything, there was no minute restriction or anything like that. Kurt's had a lot of great games for us. We know he's got a lot of great games in front of us. Obviously dealt with an illness, but like when you're back and you go out there, there's a standard that you need to play to and that we know he's capable of playing to. In terms of Key, we're optimistic that he'll be able to return on Saturday. Again, his health and well-being, number one. He was able to practice today for the first time, so we'll see how his body responds to that and where he's at. But anybody that goes out and plays in the game has to have a tremendous mental toughness, has to have whatever ailments and injuries or anything they've had, it has to be behind them. And on the night of the game for that 2 hours, it has to be all about winning and only about winning. And that's what we have to get to.
All right, when you've got a guy, fellows, who maybe is not going to be, who will likely play, but he's clearly not going to be 100%, what's the plan on offense? Do you try to take it right at him and make him try to move laterally and as much as you can? Do you attack him because he is the guy that's not 100% out there?
Well, I think in the type of system that we run here at Arizona, I don't think you really necessarily hunt guys, right, J-Dub? I think they just run the offense and just let it take its course. Let the ball find the open guy, as they always say. So I don't necessarily think that they're going to do that. But I think if you're a player, you know that the other guy is hurt in your mind, and so you will test him if you get an opportunity, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not as mobile to be able to stay ahead of some of the Arizona guards who are trying to get in the paint, then you're going to take advantage of that individually. But as far as trying to get him isolated on a one-on-one kind of ISO guy, that's not Arizona's style. But we'll see. I mean, he's obviously a gamer, right? So this is the time of year, Kelvin, when you got a little nagging injury, you might have sat out a few games. It's less painful when the games become more meaningful, and March is here, right? So these games start becoming that much more important, and I have full confidence that young man will suit up and play about as hard as anybody can possibly play because they know how much this game means.
All right, before we hear more from TJ Otzelberger on his Iowa State Cyclones, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, my name is David Kelly. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Wildcats, number 22 in the country, number 21 of the coaches poll, on the road at number 9, Iowa State tonight in a top 25 battle. These two teams right up there sitting in that top 4. The Wildcats in a much more comfortable position right now than the Iowa State Cyclones, who have lost 2 games in a row and are battling with BYU for that coveted last spot in the double bye. The top 4 teams will get 2 byes at the conference tournament in Kansas City. BYU's won 5 in a row, and they're trying to steal one of those spots away from Iowa State. TJ Oltzberger, we mentioned, will likely have Keyshawn Gilbert back tonight. Curtis Jones, a little bit more healthy. He had lost those 2 coming off the injury, as we mentioned, to Milan Momcilovic, who he did not have the last time these 2 teams got together.
Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of pride in doing the hard things and hitting adversity head on. So it's not frustrating. It's not difficult. It's not challenging. It's what life is stuff's going to happen. Things aren't going to go your way. And then the job is to immediately flip it and make it go your way. That's as a coach, as an athlete, as a student, as a person in life. And so, we know what we sign up for. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be guys that are hurt. There's even going to be times that you need to play injured and hurt and find a way to make your team win because it's late February. It'll be March when we play on Saturday. So, the only thing we're guaranteed at this point probably is that there's 5 games left. There's 3 in the regular season, at least 1 in the Big 12 tournament, and 1 beyond that. And so if your urgency isn't at the highest level, regardless of who we put in the game and the pride in the program and everything you got going on personally, then, man, you're missing the deal because this is the most fun this will ever be is this time of the year. And when you're playing games that are meaningful, I never take that for granted. So we've got to make sure that everybody in our program has a excitement for what's in front of us and how we attack it. And there's no victim and there's no feeling bad and there's no frustrated and there's none of that now. It's everything's right in front of us.
Milan Momcilovic had an injury to his non-shooting hand. He had surgery on that non-shooting hand back in late January. Has been back for a few ball games. Guys, in terms of the non-shooting hand, how does that affect a guy when he's out on the floor?
It depends what part of his hand, right, Kelvin? I mean, it depends how heavy his guide hand is on his shot, too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I would say. Usually if it's your thumb, they can wrap it up pretty good. A lot of guys, it don't hurt them so much when it's your offhand. The biggest thing, J-Dub, if you ask me, is picking the ball up.
Yeah.
When you're trying to pick the ball up and guys are swiping and hitting at your hand, sometimes it can really aggravate you. But, yeah, picking the ball up and being strong with the basketball is really where a lot of the problems come in at.
Yeah, strength of the ball and also ball handling. Obviously, he's not a guy who's known for being a really ball-dominant guy, but at the same time, you really need ball security this time of year. I mean, look how many thefty-type teams there are in this conference. And so, yeah, I think more so with just security and ball handling than shooting. But again, some guys are super guide hand heavy on their shots, and that can be a little tricky if you've done that for your entire life, and that's your mechanics. And then all of a sudden, if it's your, let's say, pinky on your offhand, and that's getting rubbed on the ball, it just depends on where the injury is. But I mean, he's not shooting great since he's been back, so we'll see. I mean, let's see. 4 for his last 18 in the last 2 games and the last 2 losses. So not shooting the ball great. Came in, I think 39% is what he shoots from 3. So a good shooter overall. I haven't had a chance to watch every single second of his return since he's been back, but the stats show maybe a little bit uncomfortability there with his shot.
He missed 7 games between January the 15th and February the 8th. He has been back now for 6 games, and as J-Dub just mentioned there, he's struggled to shoot the basketball, only shooting 50% or more in 2 of those 6 games. Win over Cincinnati and a win over TCU. This is a team that's kind of been up and down. That loss to Arizona started them on a 3-game losing streak. Then they kind of rebounded and found themselves. Now they've lost 2 more in a row. So they're 4-5 in their last 9 games coming into tonight's contest here against the Wildcats.
And they really fought hard at Houston without their top 2 leading scorers, guys. I mean, let's not forget that the news broke that their top 2 scorers would not play against the Houston Cougars a day before that game, and they only lost 68-59 without their top 2 scorers on that team. The next game out, on the other hand, I'm sure we'll hear more from Coach, but not happy about the loss at Oklahoma State, where Kelvin doesn't feel like his team really showed up with that Iowa State Cyclones level of energy that we're used to seeing recently.
74-68, the final in that loss to Oklahoma State, which came on Tuesday earlier this week. And as J-Dub just said, the coach was not real happy about that performance.
It was unacceptable effort on our part. I think the lack of toughness with the basketball. I mean, we had 6 turnovers in the first, whatever it was, 8 possessions or so. That's beating yourself. That's not giving yourself a chance to win. And so you put yourself in really tough spots. They scored the first 12 points, which set the tone for the game, either on scoring off of our turnover or being the more aggressive team on an offensive rebound. We prepared our guys going into the game, making sure they understood Oklahoma State plays as hard as anybody in this league does. And that was true on Tuesday night. So I think for us, we can't be a team that looks at what's in front of us and then decides how tough we're going to be with the basketball or how much effort we're going to give. That's just not who our team, who our program, who we are. So overall, I just thought, an uncharacteristically very, poor effort and value in the ball, rebounding the ball, and then just, the toughness, the effort, the things that the margins we aim to win in, and many nights we do, we got to hand it to us.
Can you point to the reason? I mean, is it fatigue, complacency, arrogance? Like you mentioned, not picking and choosing when you do it.
Yeah, I think, there's certainly been something to say about, when we've had all 8 guys that have been our primary rotation, they've all been healthy and they've all been doing their job, the team that we can be. When there's been 1 or 2 of those 8 out for one reason or another, it's impacted us fairly significantly. The effort and the toughness that we just displayed on Saturday at Houston was terrific. It's really unexplainable to say, how do you turn around and on Tuesday have that happen? So we have the same routine in terms of what we do and how we prepare our guys physically and mentally. And we've had, like, this last month of the season, it's been Tuesday, Saturday, so they're in a rhythm of how we practice, what the off days are, how we take care of their bodies. So I'd say ultimately, yes, having everybody available is a factor, but regardless of who is available, our mental toughness and our focus on doing those things has to be there. I think what happens at times is we get consumed with our offense, whether that is we're not making shots, we're turning it over, we think we're getting fouled, and that mental weakness that we are displaying at times rears its head, and then we're not quite as intentional on the defensive end. We've got to be better at being a team that says we're going to be tough with the ball and we're going to convert, but then also if we're not fortunate to do that, we're going to hang our head on our defense, get set, and turn people over.
All right, that was TJ Oldsberger talking about his team's 74-68 loss on Tuesday at the hands of Oklahoma State, a game in which they turned it over 18 times.
That's
in that contest.
6-11 in conference Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So that's why you hear the coach there, Kelvin, not exactly happy with his team's performance. You get all your guys back and you're healthy again. That's a team on the schedule. If you want to be a top 4 and get the double bye, you got to beat the teams who are at the lower half of the conference.
And Curtis Jones struggled in that game. As you heard the coach say, he was back, but only scored 11 points and only made 2 of 8 shots from the floor. All right, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. It is the Wildcats and the Iowa State Cyclones coming up. Much more for you straight ahead. We'll shine a spotlight on one of your Arizona Wildcats coming up next, along with Kelvin Ethan and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. And that's our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every game. It's the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be somebody from the other team. We'll tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day post-game show. Much more straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Go Wildcats! As the new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future?
Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Left corner, Townsend for 3, rattles it home. Trey Townsend, Lexus at Tucson Charity 3. First points in the last 3 games.
Found points. Trey Townsend from 3.
Trey Townsend, that was the game which he came back from his concussion. Was that against Iowa State? J-Dub, you said what you were saying or no? Did he came back?
Houston was the game he came back.
The game he came back. All right. Trey Townsend, though, has not been in the starting lineup, obviously, since his return, as Henry Vasar has moved into that role. He's been coming off the bench, did not get a ton of minutes at the end of the BYU game until the very end when he was put in, and then, of course, called for the foul late that allowed BYU to get the 2 free throws that won the game. Ryan Hansen from Arizona Sports Enterprises had a chance to catch up with Trey Townsend and asked him about this time of the season as the games begin to creep up on March, but before you get to the excitement of March and how the players are dealing mentally with this sometimes down part of the schedule. Our pregame show, Spotlight on a Cat, is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
I mean, yeah, like you said, you're kind of in the dog days of the season, but you're ramping up for the postseason time, tournament time, and I think that's the biggest thing that you look at as a team. You know, we all have one common goal, and understanding what that goal is, you know, to win championships and make a Final Four. I think that's the one thing that holds everyone together and keeps us motivated through these slower times in the mid to late February, and, you know, try to get yourself ready for that first and second week of March when it's, you know, win or go home.
Give me your perspective on how well Caleb Love plays when Arizona's clicking, what that means to you guys offensively.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. He's one of the best players in the country and one of the most offensively talented guys that in the game of college basketball. So having a guy like him, you know, come in and be able to score 20 plus, you know, whenever he's able to is such a boost for us. And that's another motivator for us, you know. And once he's playing well, you know, the whole team seems to play well. So he's just a huge piece for the team.
And having talked to you many times through the season, you're a very mature young man. You've got a lot of experience under your belt. But give me your take on not starting, coming back from your concussion, kind of working your way back in. Talk a little bit about coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a change for me. I've had started in every game, you know, prior to that, my whole college career, even, you know, when I was a walk-on at Oakland. So that was a change. But when I came here, the ultimate goal was to, you know, win a championship or make a Final Four, and I was willing to, you know, do whatever it takes to get there. And, you know, Coach Lloyd came up to me, and, you know, we talked about it. And, you know, that was the decision that they wanted to see, you know, some new lineups. And, you know, I'm all for anything that, you know, they think will help us win. And, you know, Henry's been playing amazing, so, you know, he deserves it. And, you know, I'll just do my best to support and get in there and contribute where I still can, you know, leading to that ultimate goal, which is, you know, hopefully making that Final Four.
That is Trey Townsend, your spotlight on a cat for this week. And Trey dealing, obviously, with not being in the starting lineup. Guys, I know we talked about this a lot all season long, and there were a lot of calls throughout the season for maybe Tommy to adjust his lineup. He obviously, an injury kind of forced that hand. If would Tommy have done it without the injury, we may not ever know. But the injury did happen, and he put Henry Vasar in there. and it seemed to have worked for the, again, but you can look at whether it's worked or not. I mean, the Wildcats going into their last game had lost 3 of 4. So has it worked? Has it not worked? Does Trey ever go back into the starting lineup? Those are questions I think maybe still to be answered. But for right now, it's Henry Vesar's job. What have you guys seen maybe some of the differences are in the lineup now that Henry's in there and Trey's coming off the bench?
Well, to me, the biggest difference is spacing. I think with Townsend in right now, people not really respect his three-point shot. So their help side, they can double down. They can help on the guy's penetration. So it's not as much room. When you have Vesar in there, he can make the threes. They know he'll attempt the threes. They're a little tighter on him. So I think it opens up the court a little bit more for some of the other guys.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue all year, and not that it's played out with wins and losses, but if you think about it, Tobey and Trey are very similar body styles. Obviously, Tobey's a little taller, a little thicker. But as far as, Kelvin, a guy you want to put on a big who's a bruiser down low that you want to keep off the glass and that kind of thing, Vesar, on the other hand, being a lot skinnier, more active, but also much more above the rim kind of player, he's also going to come off and try to affect shots. So relative to having, Vesar over Trey in the starting lineup, you get way less experience. We're talking about, 130 games started by Trey Townsend? And not to mention the fact that I love his story. Walk on to all conference, to player of the year in your conference. Anybody who goes from walk on to player of the year in your conference, that's a guy who puts in the work. To me, it's less important about who starts than who finishes. So I want to see them come out of the gate, whatever lineup that coach thinks gives them the best opportunity based on the matchup in front of them to come out to a hot start. But it's really the last 10 minutes of the game. And the guys who are the most effective versus the other team in that last 8-10 minutes, they're the ones who are going to close games out. As far as Trey goes, he just needs to stay confident. I mean, he's been there, done that. He's done a ton of damage at this level. I mean, at the college level in his life. Made a deep run in the NCAA tournament just last year. Knows how to win big games. He just needs to keep staying confident, staying positive, and do the work that he can. Kelvin, maybe be a tiny bit more aggressive on the block if he gets a guy who can go over the top of. That's the one thing we haven't seen. I'd like to see him maybe be a little bit more aggressive on the block. Other than that, take the open shot. If he gets the ball, don't swing it quite as fast. Early in the shot clock, maybe keep the ball moving. But there's been a couple of times, Kelvin, because we know he can shoot. Sometimes that gets in your head when you don't see a couple of shots go down. But more than anything, don't you think a little bit more aggressive on the block?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's where he made his living. That's where he made his reputation at Oakland. It was not necessarily as a three-point shooter. And I think, to me, that's the difference in his success right now. I think that if he can get some basketballs on the high-low, I would love to see him in with Vesar a little bit more so he can be in some high-low situations with him, with Vesar on the outside and him on the inside, and see if he can get some of those finishes that a Walker get. But he's going to have to step in a little bit harder right there to get position down there to be able to make these things happen. But too much perimeter oriented right now.
3 for 11 is Trey Townsend shooting in the last 3 games that he has not started. We anticipate this will be the 4th game in a row that he will come off the bench. He was averaging about 7 shots as a starter, and obviously that number is down now to more just 3 or 4. So does he need to be maybe a little bit more aggressive and try to shoot the ball more when he's in there?
And I feel like it hurts us having Vesar starting because that takes some of our offensive fire punch off the bench. So if he's going to be coming off the bench and you know some of your minutes are going to be taken away, I think you'd be a little bit more aggressive on both sides of the court. Rebounding, offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, going for steals. Your minutes are going to be, you're going to be right around about 15 minutes, maybe 20 if you play well. So be a little bit more aggressive. You have nothing to save.
Yeah, I think the whole offense is set up to get a good shot. It doesn't matter which of the 5 guys are on the court. The whole point is having 5 guys on the court. Now, you don't want necessarily, Tobey Awaka shooting from 30 feet out. But the idea being, if you're in a comfortable position in your spot where you can do damage from, and you get the ball swung to you, if you either have a mismatch or you have a little bit of airspace, you need to be aggressive to make the defense pay. That's what this offense is all about. That's why we see the high assist numbers. And Trey Townsend, when he gets that ball swung to him on the block, going to do damage, and then what he's great at, guys, is those little tiny pocket passes inside a tight space. So if he gets in there and he puts his body on someone and can get a little space and get closer to the rim, maybe sees a secondary defender, that's when cutters need to be aware that he's got the ball, Kelvin, because Trey Townsend, better than Awaka, is very good at finding those cutters. So it's just a matter of playing off of that action and just, like I said, be confident in your abilities, Trey Townsend. You've been there this 5th year. He's scored a lot of points at this level. He just has to remember who he is and what he's all about and just get after it, play basketball.
Last time out against Iowa State, he scored 7 points. That put him over 2,000 on his career. Your spotlight on the 5th-year senior out of Oxford, Michigan, Trey Townsend. That's today's Spotlight on a Cat. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. All right, Arizona women's basketball is wrapping up their regular season as we speak up in Tempe against the rival Arizona State Sun Devils. I do want to update you on one game that has to do with Arizona. Colorado right now is losing at the half by 11 on the road at Texas A&M. If Colorado loses and Arizona wins, then the Wildcats will get the 8th seed in the conference tournament, which means they'll get a single bye. They will not play on Wednesday. We talked a little bit about that this week. We'll dive into that a little bit more as we go ahead. But let's take a listen in now. Derek Palmer with the call. Arizona women's basketball in Tempe against the Sun Devils.
Boy, what was going on in these huddles? Second turnover here in as many possessions to start the second quarter for Arizona State, 3rd overall. Swan puts the ball down once and gets it right back from Cunningham, who now goes to Knezovic, and now Jones has it, left angle. Out of the paint comes Paris, trying to use a Knezovic screen. Hesitates as she goes to the right side and is wrapped up by Levette. ASU has only had 2 fouls called on it, and now second one on Levette. So what do you do with so few players on the bench? Right now, they're going to say Paulina was in the act of shooting to boot. So nobody has come off of ASU's bench. As a steady flow of traffic has entered Desert Financial Arena, there are probably now more ASU fans than Arizona fans here, as Paulina misses the first but makes the second free throw to tie it at 17. Going back to the first quarter, the Wildcats, over a lengthy period of time, have scored the last 4 points. Say over the last 4 minutes or so, as Skinner goes to Parkinson left of the lane, and now Brown on the outside, puts it on the deck, trying to force her way to the left, gets to the baseline, try to kick it out to the far side, but there's nobody there but Paulina Paris, as she is in the backcourt trying to get a fork in it, eventually gets it up to Swan, who thinks about a three-pointer instead, goes off to the corner. 3 from Jones is nearly an air ball. It was still long over the rim, but caught the last lip of it, and then nearly went out of bounds. A rebound from Levette as the Wildcats now off to a 2 for 10 start. And now another foul is called. And it's on Cunningham. Copa on the Wildcat bench is pretty worked up as the ball's inbounded to Basham. She's continued to be matched up with Knezovic. Now Parkinson near the foul line, goes back outside to the right. Brown starts retreating, now trying to post up Jones, spins over the right shoulder. And a foul is called.
You don't want to get Salvo Copa
That will send Brown
worked
to the free
up on
throw
the bench
line.
over there. Another foul call on Brea Cunningham. Got to keep her in the game.
Pretty small change.
That is a very important thing. So Arizona women's basketball right now taking on Arizona State on the road in Tempe, trying to, again, end their season with a victory and potentially now with a chance to get to that 8th spot in the conference.
There is nothing worse, Kelvin Ifan, than when your main rival is trying to play spoiler. Right? I mean, man, we've seen that so many times in the Teacup over the years, but ASU coming in 3-14 in the conference. Arizona, last I checked, was the second team out. So the second team out of the NCAA tournament right now, as far as selection committee is concerned, or projections go. So 2-3 more wins along the way, I'll probably get them in. But definitely Arizona State trying to play the spoilers today.
18-17, Sun Devils lead. That game is in the second quarter. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day rolls on. Much more for you straight ahead. We'll check your college basketball scoreboard across the men's landscape. When we come back, you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour one of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Poston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Ardent Nation.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066. Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock and Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Picked up by Arizona off to Bradley. Missed the slam dunk. Long rebound to Townsend. Back left. Del Orso off the side of the rim. Bradley the rebound. Good. And he's fouled. Relentless on the offensive end, and it pays off.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, hour number 2 of our program. Here's what we've got in store for you. We'll take a look at the college basketball scoreboard. It's brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers. Our scouting report will be delivered by the voice of the Iowa State Cyclones. John Walters joins us. Who will be that Cyclone that ruffles up the hair of the Wildcats in this one? Your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. How's it look on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook? Arizona getting 6. 6-point underdog tonight, or your Wildcats. Over under at 151.5. Your view from courtside, we'll chat with the athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed Francois, get her thoughts on everything that went down this week and last Saturday at the end of the BYU game. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I'm going to hit the button now, and we are live on Instagram. So head on over to Instagram right now. We are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And we are live on Twitch. So 4 different platforms. You can watch the video of this show. You can as well listen to it on a number of different platforms. Our website, Wildcats Radio 1290. Download our app, please. It slaps. All kinds of great stuff on there, including why it's not likely that the NCAA tournament is going to be expanded in the next couple of years. We've got that story top front on our app right now. So read about all of that and let us know if you agree or not, if you'd like to see the tournament expanded. I think I'm quite fine with 68 teams.
How about retracted?
Retracted. J-Dub wants less than 68 teams.
Yeah, 64.
Yeah, back
even
to
number.
64.
Back to
Like,
64.
I don't understand why we need 4 extra teams to begin
we don't
with.
need that Tuesday night game.
Yeah, now, like, you go back to, like, the 1940s and people claim Sweet 16s.
Yeah.
When there were only 16 teams allowed in the tournament.
Right.
That's some garbage.
Yeah.
Everything since the mid-70s, 64 is a perfect number.
Right.
Great round-robin tournament. I'm joking, obviously. I don't have a problem necessarily with the 4 extra teams, but if you, like, double the number or have some kind of, look at what the conference tournaments are going to look like with all these odd numbers, right? It's like the math is simple. You get enough teams that divide into 2 that can play for a title. Simple as that.
It's very interesting from the standpoint of, I think that if you're somebody that liked to fill out brackets, it kind of messes that whole process, because now you got to rush your. I used to be one of those people that I wouldn't fill out my bracket until Wednesday night. Now it's like I feel like I got to do it like on Monday or Tuesday.
The dumbest part to me, guys, is what's the most popular sport in America? What's the most popular league in America?
NFL.
Right. And why is the NFL so popular? Because the first play of the first game determines your playoff, whether or not you're going to get in the playoffs, number one, and whether or not you're going to have any kind of seeding in the playoffs. So, like, the whole concept is the year is short enough and the schedule is short enough that every single play matters, every single game matters. So what are we doing here? Like, why do we have 12 non-conference games and 20 regular season conference games if you're just going to allow 100 teams into the NCAA tournament.
Right.
There's 350 teams in the NCAA basketball at this level. There's plenty of games throughout the regular season for teams to prove that they're worthy. The more games you add, I mean, it cheapens the regular season. It cheapens the conference games that we're seeing already. So as far as I'm concerned, there's plenty of games to determine who's worthy of being in the NCAA tournament as it stands now.
Well, there was a young man who had a pretty big play at the end of the game for the Arizona Wildcats in their win over Utah the other night.
Conrad waiting for a screen from Menno. He gets that as the ball knocked away, goes back to save it. Over to Lloyd, right corner. Whiteman steps left, shoots, banked it in for 3. Another one of the seniors, and the fans love it.
The walk-on Grant Whiteman getting the three-pointer late in the contest. Coming off the bench, Tucson native, family very involved in Arizona basketball throughout the years. One of those guys that probably grew up just wanting to put on that jersey and have a moment just like that at McHale Center. And according to Toby Awaka and Carter Bryant, he is a guy on this team that everybody loves.
I mean, personally, Grant is one of my favorite human beings, just period, beyond basketball and all that. You know, during practice, he's such a killer, you know, doing what he does. And then just to see him, you know, showcase that tonight at the end of the game, it was really fun to see.
I agree. I remember when I first came to school, we were playing open runs, and I was like, yo, there's no way this dude is a walk-on.
No,
like,
facts.
he was mid-range 3 to the rim, however you wanted it. So seeing him to go get those 2 rebounds, me and Tobe looked at each other when he got that first rebound. We were like, that was better than any rebound we got tonight. But for him to hit that shot as well, I mean, he puts in work just like anybody else on the team. So it was great to see him do that tonight.
18 total points in his career at the University of Arizona. This is his 5th season. Played in 5 games as a freshman, 16 as a sophomore, 6 as a junior, 18 as a senior, and now 10 in his 5th year. He's 7 of 18 from the floor in his career, 2 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. 18 points in his career. It'll go along with 23 rebounds.
I'll say that's different because you usually don't get walk-ons for 5 years. You know?
Right.
So was the COVID year basically, or a redshirt year? You know, but you know, I hats off to him, man, because a lot of times people don't give credit to the walk-ons and to the guys that's giving you the looks as far as scout team is concerned at practice. It is so important to get those looks. I mean, it's great for the walk-on and the scout team guys because you get a chance to show against the starters that, you know, what you got and you gain that respect from them. But I love to see when these guys get recognition.
Yeah, especially guys from Tucson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Especially guys from and speaking of that, it's a kid, Whiteman's one of his best friends is plays at Harvard right now is Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Evan Nelson.
We had him on the show last year, Evan Nelson.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a senior over there, man. And I think we need a backup point guard over here. I would love for him to come home. 5th year, he has another year. He's graduated from Harvard, already has his degree and everything like that. I think he will be a great guy for them to look into, bring it home, a great Tucson guy. And he's a guy that can come and actually help us.
He's a baller.
Yeah, great assist to turnover guy. I think like a 38% three-point shooter. I just think that everything that he is, the person that he is, Tucson, I just think he would be a great guy to bring back here and doing the transfer portal, especially with so many guys that we have coming back.
Right.
You need a veteran guy that kind of understands, you know, how to make it all work.
Brian, or I should say, Tommy Lloyd, after the ball game the other night, started his press conference by talking about the 2 sons of Craig Smith, the fired coach from Utah, who were with the club in their roles that they have had under their father.
Brady and Landon Smith are Craig's kids. And one's the director of operations, the other's a walk-on. And both those kids showed up today, and which is pretty amazing. I mean, I know you guys, this is a business, and it's a hard business, and I get all those things, but, like, we all have families. We all have kids. And for his kids to show up today, and, you know, and Craig, I talked to him today, and didn't have one bad word to say. Straight class. For his boys to show up today with their teammates, it says something. This stuff's hard. What we go through, even when it's going good, it's hard. And I know you guys have opinions and this and that. This isn't against the media. This is just society in general. And us guys that decided to coach, there's a lot of really cool things that come with it. But there's a lot of tough stuff. There's a lot of tough days. And you know what? There's a lot of times your family gets neglected because what we're doing to try to, to prove our worth as a coach, to prove our value, to prove that we belong at this level. And so I got a lot of respect for those two young men. Yeah, it's impressive. Those dudes showed up with their teammates today. And the Utah team, they played their ass off today. And I knew they were going to throw some curveballs at us, and they obviously did with the triangle and two in the second half. And hey, we got the victory. That was mission accomplished. Our guys played pretty well for certain parts of the game, and we respect Utah and those guys showing up today, with considering everything they're going through. So
certainly I definitely understand his point. I certainly is very difficult, I think, for children in those situations. I remember when Rich Rodriguez got fired, and I think that very night, or at least the next night, his daughter was Raquel, was a member of the cheerleading team, and she was right there down on the floor, doing her thing, because that's what children do. They even in the toughest of circumstances, they keep moving forward. They're not going to run and hide because of situations like this. And it was good to hear that Craig Smith's kids decided to remain, because they could have been angry and decided, look, if you don't want our father to be here, then we don't want to be here either. But they stayed with the group, and that was good to see. Tommy added that a little bit about what he talked about with Craig Smith in that phone call he mentioned.
That, Bruce, every exchange between humans doesn't have to be awkward. And he and I are colleagues, and we got to know each other coaching in the Pac-12, and we kind of came into the league together. So, but I think, do Craig and I talk on the phone a lot? No. Do we completely understand what everybody goes through all the time? Yes. So you develop a brotherhood, because there's not too many people that know what your life's really like. And the stress you feel, and the pressure that's on you, and trying to figure out your team and everything comes with it. It was just one guy calling another guy because he respects him, and I just wanted him to know that, hey, he's a great dude, and sorry that happened, and I hope he and his family are okay.
There you go, Tommy Lloyd laying it out just kind of like he did last week with the whole shaking hands thing. That's just kind of the guy he is.
Yeah, that's exactly who he is, man. Straight shooter, man. He comes straight at you and tell you exactly how he feel. As a coach, you get a little emotional in those situations because, you're losing a job. People see it as a game, but that's a job, and these, people's lives or whatever, and it's in the middle of the season. So, it's a lot of things that are disruptive for these guys and their families. So, yeah, as a coach, you feel for those guys, because the first thing you do is you see yourself and wonder how you would handle that. And coach, you got to think about it. He has a son on his team as well that's a walk-on. So
right.
He can put himself in the shoes of this coach and understand the feelings. So, yeah, you take your hats off the coach for, again, a feeling for his colleague.
Yeah, I think most of us, who've been following understand what a college basketball coach is like. Go read John Feinstein's book, A Season on the Brink. Came out in 1985. It's all about it. The idea of 20-hour days, guys, especially in season, and the overlap between recruiting. And if you're talking about recruiting a pool of international players, that's not like you can hop, a plane and go and see somebody play. So obviously, most coaches these days with NIL, transfer portal, not to mention the fact that they just joined a new conference. Like, we all know the levels of stress. As far as the kids, Coach Smith's kids, they too signed up for responsibilities, right? So the message from a coach, guys, is what? Stick to your guns. If you commit to something, see it through to the end. I think what you're seeing from coaches' children when they make the choice to be in the cheerleading line the day after their dad's fired, or to show up in Tucson 2 days after their dad's was fired, is literally what coaches teach on a daily basis. So they have responsibility to their peers who they're working with. Now, maybe at the end of the year, they may not want to be at the University of Utah anymore because of this situation that happened last week. But what lesson would that be, Kelvin, if those kids did the opposite of what their dad's teaching? Now, outside of something super crazy extracurricular, I would understand all kinds of situations of children not wanting to be there the day after. But seeing them there in Tucson, it's about character, right? It's about living up to your promises.
Wildcats Radio 1290. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're going to get you a scouting report on the Iowa State Cyclones. They're a little bit bumped and bruised since the last time we saw them, but they also have a player back who we did not see when they were here in Tucson. John Walters will tell you all about that coming up next. Along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between? You'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rocking K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
If you can't be at the game, then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's. Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway and discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Hot water heaters haven't changed a whole lot in the past 100 years, until now. Hi, I'm Jake Cummings, owner of Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Tankless water heaters are becoming a popular choice. Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is proud to offer Navien tankless water heaters, #1 in North America. Enjoy endless hot water and lower your energy bill. Tankless water heaters work with gas or electric and take 80% less space. Interested in going tankless? Call Cummings for your free estimate today.
For heating, air, and plumbing, call Cummings.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
It is the rematch, Arizona and Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. Let's get an update on what is happening with the Cyclones. A lot has been happening with the Cyclones. Pleased to be joined by the voice of Iowa State basketball, John Walters. And first, John, the $100 million question everybody wants to know. What's the status of Keyshawn Gilbert heading into this game?
I think it's looking promising. You know, he's been practicing this week, which is certainly great news. And so, barring a setback, I would anticipate that he'll be out there. And so that would be terrific for Iowa State. And they would finally be back at full strength. It's been a while since they've had all hands on deck.
Yeah, let's just kind of start there. I mean, obviously Keyshawn had a pretty good solid ball game here in the overtime thriller the last time around against these two teams, 17 points. What's kind of special about him and what he's been able to add to this ball club?
Well, he's just such a good finisher around the rim, and he's good at finding his teammates as well when he gets into the paint. And the thing that happens with Keyshawn is when Iowa State is at full strength and they've got Milan Momcilovic to help spread the floor, and, Curtis Jones shooting it well, when they've got those perimeter guys out there, it usually opens up some space for him to operate in the paint, and that's when he's at his best. So we haven't seen that in a while where all hands have been on deck like this, with him healthy and Momcilovic healthy and everybody available. And so I'm curious to see what it'll look like. But when he's been at his best, it's been when he's been able to get downhill and create for himself and his teammates.
Yeah, we did not see Milan Momcilovic the last time around due to his injury. How has he been since he came back? And how did TJ Oldsberger, the head coach, kind of feel like they played when he was not in there?
I think at first they played pretty well when he wasn't in there, but over time you could really see how it impacted them because of what I just talked about. Defenses really packed the paint and tried to take away the driving lanes from Gilbert and Jones and some of the other guys that like to try to take the ball into the paint. So, and there wasn't as much room for the big guys to operate in there as well. Even if Milan's not shooting the ball, his mere presence on the floor opens up the floor for the other Iowa State players. But he also needs to be aggressive and hunt his shot. It's what he's out there for, and he was really good at that in the game at Houston where Iowa State was shorthanded without Jones and Gilbert. He scored 16 points in the second half against that Houston defense, which is hard to do. And so he's an important piece of the puzzle for Iowa State for sure. They need him to be in attack mode offensively.
Chatting with John Walters, the play-by-play man for the Iowa State Cyclones. It is your scouting report, and it's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. And John, obviously coming off 2 straight losses, the loss in Houston you mentioned without Curtis Jones that day as well because he was ill. Curtis was back, obviously, but the loss down at Oklahoma State, 74-68. I want to go back, though, also to the game here. Just your thoughts on how that game ended, what your vantage point was of the late heave by Caleb Love, and how you guys kind of called that game that night.
Well, I thought it was a great basketball game, first of all. I know there were some turnovers, and it wasn't always perfect, but, man, 2 teams really getting after each other and playing hard. And a really enjoyable game. Great environment at the McHale Center. I think it's been a tremendous addition to the Big 12 in terms of, a great game day environment. And so that was really fun. But, from an Iowa State perspective, gosh, they had the thing won, and it was going to take a 60-foot prayer to get you beat that night, and that's exactly what happens, and that's college basketball. That's what happens sometimes. And credit to Love for making the shot and then coming out and really knocking down 2 big threes in the overtime. But it was a gut-wrenching loss for Iowa State, no doubt about it, because, that's one where it almost has a loss that carries over, because it's such a gut punch the way it happened. And I think it can affect your season going forward if you're not careful. And I think it has affected Iowa State's season going forward a little bit. They have struggled a little bit here lately. But, again, I think it's more to do with, not being at full strength. But I was super impressed with the way Arizona played. Bradley was tremendous defensively. Awaka was an absolute force on the boards. And those are the things Iowa State's going to have to deal with this time around, is trying to keep Lewis and Bradley from doing their thing defensively and getting steals and runouts, because that was a big part of Arizona's offense that day. I thought when it got into a half-court game, Iowa State was really good defensively and did some of their best defensive work of the year. So I think the key for them, in Saturday's game is to be that team that gets back defensively, doesn't turn the ball over, forces Arizona to beat them with their half-court offense, and then tries to do some of those same things, which is Iowa State's bread and butter, force turnovers, get out and run off that. And I think it'll be just a whale of a game. I think you'll see 2 teams really getting after it, 2 of the better teams in the Big 12 Conference, and I think it'll be every bit as entertaining as the first game.
Iowa State play-by-play man John Walters is our guest. TJ Oldsberger has really come in and put this program in the position to be one of the best programs in the country. How have you kind of assessed how he's done that? And obviously this was the guy they targeted out of UNLV, even though maybe you would look at the what he had done there, and maybe the record doesn't jump out at you, but he had been an assistant at Iowa State before, and clearly this was the guy they wanted, and it seems to have been a big payoff for Iowa State.
Yeah, Jamie Pollard, Iowa State's athletic director, is in his 20th season here, and he really had his eye on TJ Otzelberger from the beginning. He was an assistant coach under 3 different head coaches at Iowa State, which tells you a lot about TJ to begin with, that 3 different coaches would want him on their staff. And when the job opened up and TJ wanted it, coming out of South Dakota State, it didn't get it. CPROM did, and it was a situation where, he really felt like he was ready to be a head coach. It was actually prior to his time at South Dakota State. He felt like he was ready to be a head coach. It didn't happen for him at that moment. But what happened was, I think it was better for him almost to go get that experience at South Dakota State and at UNLV. And then when Coach Pro moved back to Murray State, the opportunity really opened, and Jamie Pollard had TJ at the top of his list. They know what they were getting in him. He loves Iowa State. He's an excellent tactician. He's very demanding in terms of getting his guys to play hard, but he's very fair. And they knew he was going to be an excellent coach for this program. I mean, he's a great fit here. Maybe he wouldn't be everywhere, but right here he is a great fit. And I think the thing he's done in terms of how has this team been able to excel, he does a great job at roster construction. He's so good at figuring out what pieces fit. And when you look at where these guys are coming from into the Iowa State program, Nate Heisey from Northern Iowa, Deshaun Jackson from Charlotte, Joshua Jefferson from St. Mary's, Curtis Jones from Buffalo, Keyshawn Gilbert from UNLV, Brad Chatfield from Seattle. It's not like they've gone and gotten the top guys off Michigan's roster or, St. John's roster. I mean, it's been kind of under the radar guys that just fit what they're trying to do. And then on top of that, he's been able to have the continuity to get, there's not many teams that have their 4 top scorers back from a year ago. And Iowa State had that this year. That's very rare in today's college basketball. So he's been able to keep the guys that he needs to keep here and then add to it with the right pieces out of the transfer portal and the recruiting classes.
Before we continue with John Walters, the voice of the Iowa State Cyclones, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly, number 22, Arizona at number 9, Iowa State tonight. This is today's scouting report, and it's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, here to get you there. We're chatting with the voice of the Iowa State Cyclones men's basketball team, John Walters. And John, so the newest venue that Arizona is going to be going into, what can the Wildcats expect from a day in playing in Ames?
Well, it's funny. The very first game ever played in Hilton Coliseum was Iowa State and Arizona. And my broadcast partner, Eric Heft, played in that game for Iowa State. And so, it's been a while since their last visit to Hilton Coliseum, but it'll be fun. It's a great venue. It'll be packed to the walls. It's a fun college environment. It's a really great college town, and it's also an incredible college basketball atmosphere in Hilton Coliseum. It's a 53-year-old venue, but it stood the test of time. It's a lot like McHale Center in terms of just I put those two with Allen Fieldhouse as the top 3 environments in the Big 12 right now because the fans are just so into the games and know when to cheer, know when to get on their feet, know when the team needs them. And I would put those 3 at the very top in terms of all those things. So I think they're going to have a great experience when they come here. This is a special day because they're bringing back Tyrese Halliburton, former Iowa State player, an NBA All-Star, who's having his banner unveiled as one of our Olympians. Most of them have been wrestlers or gymnasts or things like that, but not necessarily basketball players. But his banner is going to be unfurled for being an Olympic gold medalist, and that'll be really special. I know that some of his Pacers teammates are coming back. George Niang, his former, not a teammate of his actually, but just a guy that he's really close to. That's another former Iowa State player that plays for the Atlanta Hawks. He's going to come back and be a part of the ceremony as well, or at least just be there to help Tyrese have his day. So it's going to be a really cool environment. You've got national TV. The stage is set for just a tremendous college basketball environment. And, it's March. So now the games count a little bit more, and it'll be really exciting to see how it plays out.
Were you there calling the games when Tyrese was there? What was he like as a college player?
Great college player, and he only played a year and a half because he broke his wrist midway through his sophomore year, which was really too bad because he was off to a great start. His freshman year, they won the Big 12 tournament. And right away, you could see that he was going to be really an exceptional player. I think, surprisingly, to the staff at the time, Steve Proman and his coaches, they knew they were getting a good player. But when he came in and started making every shot, they're like, holy cow, this guy never misses. And he's got this great vision. And, he was way above what anybody's expectations were to the point where he could be a lottery pick coming out after a year and a half. And so we're really excited for his success and really excited to have him back. He's such a great human being. He and George Niang both bring so much more to the table than just the basketball part of it. They're just great people and 2 of the best ever to wear a Cyclone uniform.
And obviously another guy that kind of shined in the contest here last month against Arizona was Taman Lipsey, the hometown kid. Do you guys get a lot of those kids from Ames that are able to play at Iowa State?
It happens occasionally. And Fred Hoiberg was obviously the top example. Harrison Barnes didn't end up going to Iowa State. He went to North Carolina, but he was a great player out of Ames High School. There's been several. Doug McDermott ended up playing for his father, Greg, at Creighton. And he had a tremendous career, one of the top scorers in college basketball history. So occasionally a great player does come out of Ames. It's really cool for Taman because he grew up coming to games in Hilton Coliseum. His parents both worked for Iowa State. He admired Monte Morris so much when he was a kid, and now he's surpassed Monte as the all-time steals leader at Iowa State. So it's a pretty cool deal for him to hold that record.
You mentioned Doug McDermott. I'm not familiar. Is there more than one high school in Ames? And I guess when a lot of these coaches come in, is that generally where their kids go?
Yeah, pretty much. There is one big high school in Ames High School. There's also Ames Christian, but it hasn't produced any NBA players or anything like that. And typically. If coaches come in, their kids will either play at Ames or they'll play in Gilbert, which is the neighboring town to the north. And but yeah, it's rare that you see somebody that special come through, but it does happen. And when it does, you're delighted because a lot of those kids want to stay close to home.
There you go. Should be a fun rematch for sure. John, hey, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us, and have a great call.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
John Walters is the play-by-play man at Iowa State, and that is your scouting report for tonight's game between the Cyclones and the Wildcats.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's still free furnace season. For a limited time until the last day of winter, you can get a free furnace with the purchase and installation of a qualifying HVAC system. Now is the time to start planning for the long, hot Tucson summer. Hurry, this deal won't last long. For fast, reliable, and honest service, call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE
PaybackPregamePregameShow.com.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Corner's wide open. Oh! What a drive! MJ on him. Tyrese goes in short right, come left, touch it sweetly off the glass. Not much that Hartenstein can do but watch.
Ace is trying to put this one away, but the Knicks have been hanging around all night. Turner for 3, and that's another assist, a 20th for Tyrese Halliburton.
As you heard, Tyrese Halliburton will be in the Hilton Coliseum tonight to have his Olympic medal jersey ceremony. We've had some number ceremonies lately. I don't know if we've had too many, if any. Well, I guess Andre is one of ours that's been on Olympic teams, but I don't know if we've ever had any type of. I don't know if we do jersey ceremonies for the Olympic Games here for Olympic gold medals. But
that sounds like a reason just to come together. I've never heard of this before, J-Dub.
Every school,
Olympic medal ceremony.
Every school has their own, requirements. Arizona is usually All-American or 10 years in the NBA. That's what TJ got in for, right? TJ most recently got in for 10 years in the NBA. Generally, if you get to any All-American team, that's qualification for a jersey retirement, ring of honor, that whole stuff. So, I'm not sure what Iowa State's requirements are, but like he said, DK, you don't have a lot of Olympians, mostly wrestlers. Tyrese was only there for a year and a half and broke his wrist and then jumped off to the NBA. But you can imagine that he would have set every Iowa State assist record possible if he would have been on campus a little bit longer. Never had the chance to make an All-American team, but you would imagine he probably would have that year, if not his junior year.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, pretty dynamic player. TJ Altsberger, happy to have him back at Hilton Coliseum.
It's really awesome for Tyrese. I mean, how cool is it? You win a gold medal. You're able to come back, worked out schedule-wise, and you're able to come back and bring a bunch of people you care about. So first of all, it's about Tyrese, and it's, that opportunity for him and his family and people that he's close to be here to celebrate that really is awesome. It's also great for the young men in our program to see that and to be a part of it. Our guys really look up to him, and he's somebody that has tremendous character well beyond his talent. That is an easy guy to look up to and draw inspiration from. So to have him here, his family here, it's an awesome experience. It adds to what's already, going to be a great day on Saturday.
He's the first Cyclone basketball player to have one of these Olympic gold celebrations. He'll be the 8th overall. They've had a number of gold medalists in other sports, but he'll be the first on the basketball side to have such an honor. So congratulations to Tyrese Halliburton. We're not sure if all of the team will be there in attendance tonight, but certainly possible because, as we've seen, they love to cover it. Carlisle does a tremendous job of making sure that all of the players on his team are supported when they are honored in this collegiate fashion, as we have seen the last 2 years when they've brought the entire team to Tucson for number jersey retirement ceremonies for both Ben Mathurin and for TJ McConnell, as J-Dub just mentioned there.
So by far and away, Tyrese Halliburton for the past, I'd say 3 years, ever since they broke up the Suns, that finals team was a lot of fun to watch. But Tyrese Halliburton has been by far my favorite NBA player to watch in the last 3 years. I watch a ton of Pacers games because of Benedict Mathurin and because of TJ McConnell and because of their style. But he's the closest thing to Chris Paul, I mean, in the modern game. I mean, he's just a super unselfish guy and led the league in assists last year. Plays Kelvin with so much joy when he's got it going. You know, the little skips and whatnot. Never about, belittling the opponent, just picking himself up. And, I mean, the numbers speak for himself. I mean, when he's got it going and his three balls falling, just about the most unstoppable perimeter player. And Anthony Edwards loves him, right? Like, they're best friends, those two guys. You talk about a fun duo, Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards. So good to see him back in the building. Go to Hilton tonight to get his jersey retired. And, hopefully TJ and Benedict Mathurin will be there as well, because we know Tyrese was here for both of those guys. We saw both those guys. We saw Tyrese Halliburton here twice in McHale when both Benedict Mathurin and TJ had their jerseys retired.
I was laughing to myself because I know a guy that doesn't like Halliburton, Tim Hardaway Sr. He does not like him at all. I don't know. I think it's something with the 90s basketball players and the 2020 guys or whatnot. But, yeah, he said if he could come back and play, Tyrese Halliburton would be the guy that he would go after.
Give you an update from Tempe on your Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyer scoreboard. Arizona women leading Arizona State 51-37 midway through the third quarter of that game. The Wildcats have hit 11 three-point shots in that ball game.
They're
11 for 21.
Do you know why Tim Hardaway was mad at Tyrese Halliburton?
No.
Because he busted his kid's ass. Because Tim Hardaway Jr. was on the Knicks, right? And they knocked him out of the playoffs last year, the Pacers in 7 games. So there's a little bit of bad blood between the Knicks, were kind of a team of destiny. How many years have Knicks fans been waiting for that team to get over the hump? And actually, I mean, we saw them losing the finals. What was that, in the late 90s or whatever? But the Knicks fans are just some of the most proud fans that there are. And, bro, Tim Hardaway, especially when he was with the Warriors, we saw him play in college quite a lot because, UTEP and Arizona were involved at the time. But, yeah, that whole beef last week between Tim Hardaway Sr. and Tyrese was about Tim Hardaway Jr. more than anything else.
All right, let's find out who that Cyclone is going to be that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Who is today's pest of the game?
1 second. Got it at the buzzer.
The pest of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, pests of the game. I always mean to write down like who we picked from the last game that we played, and I always forget to do that. I don't remember who I had last time. But, Kelvin, who are you going to go with this time?
Last time I had, was that Joshua Johnson?
Yeah.
This time I'm going with Tabin Lipsy. Hometown kid, little bitty pesky guy. I think he could be a problem today because he seemed to be real handsy at home and really likes to make things make things happen when he's playing in front of his home crowd.
That was going to be mine too. So I'll go in another direction. I will go with the guy we didn't see last time, Milan Momcilovic, who is back from injury, and he has not shot the ball well, as J-Dub mentioned at the top of the show, but he's a guy who can shoot the ball well when he gets going. He's second on the team in three-point shots taken. He shoots 40% from three, so he's not a bad three-point shooter. And if he has the feel of Tyrese Halliburton tonight, being in the building, it could be a big night for Milan Momcilovic to find his shooting stroke and lead the number 9 team in the country to a win over the Wildcats. So I'll go with Milan Momcilovic as my pest of the game tonight.
I think it's, again, all of them, just like the Houston Cougars. I'll go with Joshua Jefferson, though, this game, just because he's been balling out, especially in the second halves, like we heard his coach talk about. When that guys brings effort and energy on every single possession, it makes their team so much tougher. So generally I like to go for guys who are high assist guys or steal guys or guys who knock down threes a lot. But today it's going to be that strength inside. I mean, rebounding, loose balls, all of that is going to be determine who wins today's game, and he's a big energy guy for them. So I'll go with Joshua Jefferson.
All three of those guys are among the double-figure scorers this season for the Cyclones. You look at Curtis Jones, he leads the way with 17. Keyshawn Gilbert at 14. Joshua Jefferson averaging 13. Momochilovic at 11. And Lipsy also at 11. ISU, one of 30 schools with 5 players hitting the mark, and one of just 12 Power 5 schools. Arizona State, and Kansas State are the only other Big 12 schools that have 5 players averaging double figures on the season.
I got a second guy tonight, too.
Ooh, a second guy.
Yeah, this is 1B.
1B.
They got a guy named Nate Heise or Heiss. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his last name. He's a fifth-year guy, transferred in. He's been playing, guys. He averages about 19 minutes a game. But the last couple of games, if you look, he's averaging about 35, 36 minutes per game. So you talk about a guy who's had a lot of experience, is really eager to play some meaningful basketball in the postseason, which he's never done before as a fifth-year senior. I really watch out for that guy if he starts knocking shots down, especially him as well.
And it is Heise, Nate Heise. In fact, let's hear from Joshua Jefferson and Nate Heise on the madness. Folks, it's March 1st. It's here. And what it means for the Cyclones to have everybody heading into the most important month of the season.
Going into March, you know how every game, every possession is even more important. And we don't want to be home in March. We want to play all the way through April. So just valuing every single possession on defense and offense is how we're going to do that. You know, we've only lost one game and we're fully healthy, but no excuse. We still got to find a way to win those games that we're supposed to win. But now that we're fully healthy, I think we'll start to get right back on track to where we've been.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely surreal, especially for me. I've never played in March Madness before, so just the thought of that and the thought of playing in the Big 12 tournament, it's kind of, I mean, it's just awesome, and it gives me a lot of motivation, and our team, I'm sure, too.
First voice you heard there was Joshua Jefferson. He had a solid game here in Tucson, 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in that contest. And, again, that's a pest that was chosen there by one Mr. J.W. Madden, and it's a pest, I should say, that T.J. Otzelberg hopes that he will be tonight for Arizona.
Joshua and I have been talking about this through the whole season. I mean, about in the second half, he has a look in his eye of determination and will and toughness where he gets every rebound that's anywhere near him. He finishes every play that's anywhere near him. And if we were to start games that same way, we would put ourselves in great position. And I'm extremely proud of Joshua and how he's continued to work, because we've seen him get better even through the course of the season. We've seen him have the ball more, make more plays, be a great finisher in games and finding ways. But, I mean, it would be naive to not mention that we need Joshua to start the game that way, not wait till we're at deficit. We need Joshua on the first possession to say, give me the ball, I will make the play, we will get a basket, or I will get a big rebound in traffic, and start with that urgency that he plays with down the stretch. So we watch film on it, we talk about it, we mentor him on it, we challenge him on it, and we're going to continue to hit it head on, because he does so many winning things for our team. He is such a terrific player, and he can make plays. He does everything on the court you could want a guy to do. And at the same time, you want him to do it right from the start every single game, because he's capable, and that's more of a credit to his talents and abilities.
And he 5 times this year, Joshua Jefferson has been the Big 12 newcomer of the week. So I don't know if they're handing out a newcomer of the year award at the end of this season.
Oh, yeah.
But it might just be him.
Oh, yeah. This conference has newcomer of the year. I think they got a 6-man. So, yeah, when you have a big conference like this, they usually have a few guys and a few different awards.
Go back to Tyrese really quick. There aren't a ton of Iowa State guys as far as the longevity of the NBA. If you've been following the NBA, there's a few guys. Jamal Tinsley went to Iowa State. But one guy, it's funny how, Tyrese obviously playing with T.J. McConnell and Benedict Mathurin, a lot of Arizona connections there with that team. Another guy with a huge Arizona connection is probably their most famous alumni, guys. Jeff Hornacek went to Iowa State. So you talk about, a guy who played in Phoenix and was synonymous with that Phoenix Suns team for so many years. Another guy that is a proud alumni of that university as well, Jeff Hornacek.
All right, before we get out of this segment, let's check on your scoreboard. There are a lot of games happening around college basketball today. And in fact, a number of games are happening in the Big 12 as we speak. So let's check up on everything that's happening around the game.
Let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the country. The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, 3 games are already final in the Big 12. Number 4, Houston knocked off Cincinnati 73-64. The march to 19-1 continues. Houston is the undisputed champion of the Big 12 Conference. They had clinched a tie their last time out, and today they clinched it outright. There is no way the Wildcats can catch them now. Texas Tech, number 10, goes into Fog Allen Fieldhouse and wins 78-73. Kansas falls to 10-8 in conference play. Texas Tech stands strong at 13-5. Also final, TCU over Central Florida 89-78. One game in progress right now. That's in Salt Lake City. Arizona State up early, 19-17 over the Utes. Josiah Sannon has 8 points so far in that game. 2 games tonight alongside of us. One game gets started here in about a half an hour. Oklahoma State at Baylor, and West Virginia will head to Provo to take on the number 25 BYU Cougars. BYU looking for a 6th consecutive victory. Top 25 today. A lot of things happening there. One game ended dramatically. And why don't we start with that? Alabama at Tennessee, tied at 76. Alabama had the ball.
Well, they turned down Gainey. Now Meshack's got to go. He will fire. He wins it! Jamai Meshack wins it!
Meshack was a star of stars. In the last 10 minutes of this game, Meshack made big play defensively, big play after big play.
He only had 11 points, but he hit the game winner, Jamai Meshack. Leading scorer, how about South Point Catholic's Jordan Gainey? He had 18 points off the bench in 29 minutes, 18 as well for Chaz Lanier, 79-76. Tennessee, number 5 in the country, knocks off the 6th-ranked Crimson Tide. St. John's beat Seton Hall 71-61. It must have been that white suit that Rick Pitino had on at that game today. Number 13, Clemson over Virginia 71-58. Maryland knocked off Penn State 68-64. Mississippi State knocks off LSU 81-69. It was number 1 Auburn on the road over Kentucky 94-78. I saw, I don't have it right now, but I saw this is like the first time they've won there in quite a long time. The Auburn Tigers winning at Rupp Arena. It hasn't happened in a long time. I'll get that number for you exactly how long ago that was. Those are all your finals on the scoreboard so far. Updating you real quick again on what's happening with your ladies on the road. It is now 64-48. 8 minutes into, or 8 minutes gone, or still to go, I should say, in the fourth quarter. We'll get you another live listen in coming up here shortly. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. That's your scoreboard.
The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand, made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think first chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Well, there ain't no bigger bummer than a really sucky plumber who takes her paycheck up 2 weeks, yet we're still dealing with these leaks. We should have called Brand Plumbing first. Those other plumbers are the worst. So we went to their website, and man, they know how to lay pipe right. BestPlumberTucson.com. Yeah, Brand Plumbing is the bomb. BestPlumberTucson.com.
Thank you, Ram Plumbing.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, a scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
If you can't be at the game, then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
KJ slides top of the circle, drives right, stops there, jumper from the elbow is good for 2.
Pure jump shot. KJ driving his defender to a spot, knowing he's going to be able to rise above there. Excellent pull-up J for KJ.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, final hour of our show today. Here's what we've got coming up for you. Still a lot to go, as always. We'll have our view from courtside, and that'll be delivered by your athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. This game on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook has Arizona +6. You're over-under 151.5. That might be as many points as Arizona has gotten this season. I'll have to look at the numbers on that. What else do we have coming up? Keys to the game, starting lineups, and a whole lot more still to come. We'll also hear from Toby Awaka, Carter Bryant, more from TJ Otzelberger, and Tommy Lloyd as well. Arizona and Iowa State coming up for you in Iowa, Ames, Iowa, at 7 o'clock with tip-off Reggie Geary and Brian Jeffries. 7.5 minutes to go in Tempe. Arizona women's basketball leading Arizona State 64-50. We'll also update you on what's happening with the Colorado Buffaloes because that affects the Arizona women. They could finish in that 8th spot and get a bye, which we talked about, Kelvin, on our show yesterday. That would mean that they would only have to play one preliminary game versus 2, so they get out of the 5 games in 5 days scenario, but they would likely only have the chance to get 20 wins versus 21 wins if they were the 9 seed and were playing the last qualifier for the tournament, which right now is Houston. You've got a chance to potentially win 2 games and have 21 wins to pad your resume going into the postseason tournament.
But with that 21 win, wouldn't that be for the championship for the conference?
No, because they would because they're.
I thought you were talking about the tournament.
No. They would. They would be their overall total win number.
Right.
Heading into whatever, because they're on the bubble. They're one of the teams that's on the bubble right now.
Well, you always want to have as many wins as possible, and it seems like that 20-win number usually sparks interest with the committee. 21 for sure would be better. Anytime you can get over 20 is a great thing, but I think it all comes down to the tournament, right?
Right.
Yeah, they come down to the tournament. There's opportunity to play teams with some quad 1 wins there. Go in the tournament and play well. You earn your right to be there.
It is now final in Lubbock. Texas Tech in overtime has defeated the Colorado Buffaloes. This is women's basketball, 83-79. They had lost, I believe it was 10 games in a row at the Texas Tech Red Raiders going into that game tonight. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
3-14.
Yeah, they'd lost 9 games in a row, but they get a win in their home finale, and now Arizona is in a position to potentially get the 8th seed if they can hold on in Tempe and knock off the Sun Devils tonight. So we will keep an eye on that game for you.
I got a number for your Auburn, Kentucky stat.
Yes.
1988 was the last time that Auburn defeated Kentucky in Rupp Arena.
And they brought out the belt, apparently, after the game. There was a video of the Auburn players bringing out the belt.
Oh, goodness. Like Kentucky,
yeah,
baby.
Bringing out the belt on that butt on Kentucky.
But you when you think about it, it's like big bro beating up on little bro, because you think about the age of the Auburn team and the age of the Kentucky team. It's a little bit of difference there.
New coach, too, right?
Right.
Caleb Love really had an awesome game against Utah. 23 points, knocked down 6 3-point shots. 6 of 12 was the final number. Carter Bryant on this team and how they feel unbeatable when Caleb Love is playing at a high level.
I feel like we're unstoppable. When you have a All-American playing the way he does at that high of a level, it's very hard for us to be beat because we have so many weapons on the court, guys that can get downhill, guys that can make reads on and off the ball, whether that's cutting, and he has so much gravity. I think that's been one thing he's really starting to learn this year is just the gravity he has on the basketball court.
No question about that. And, I mean, if Caleb's got it happening, this is a very, very difficult team to beat, not only on the offensive end of the floor, but what we have seen from Caleb on the defensive end of the floor. Tommy Lloyd liking the intensity he's getting from his 5th year at both ends.
I mean, Caleb was great today at both ends of the floor. He really took that challenge to guard Madsen. Madsen's a heck of a player. We have played against him for 3 years. 3 years. You talk about an energizer bunny and relentless energy. That dude is moving all the time. And the degree of difficulty on some of his shots that he can hit are impressive. I thought Caleb did a great job. He guarded him for the most game. I think I looked at the final stats. He ended up 2 for 10 from 3, but I only think he had 8, until the last minute. So Liam Lloyd and Grant Whiteman each gave him a 3, so they probably got a set of lines tomorrow. But Caleb did an amazing job for the horse game, and I think he banked one of those 3s in, right? Didn't he in the first half? The first one was a bank 3, I think. So Caleb did an amazing job. You know what? But here's your reward. You get a chance to do it again on Saturday. So, what you did today was great, but now it's March basketball. It needs to be again Saturday.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of Tommy. Congratulations. Do it again the next game.
Your award is you got Iowa State Saturday. And as a player, that's what you want. That's what you want. You played that game. You played well. You got to put it behind you. You got to celebrate at the end of the season. It's not enough time to pat yourself on the back during the season. You gotta take it in stride. You got to go back really and remember the times that you struggled. You want to feel good about that game, but you got to remember when you struggled and how people reacted to you when you struggled and how they reacted to you when you won and when you played well, and you want to go out there and continue that feeling. So I just think it's a thing to where, yep, you take it, but as they always say, pat on the back is a setup for a kick in the rear end. So you don't want too many of those.
Toby Awaka called Caleb Love's defense underrated.
I think he's just playing free. A guy of his caliber, a guy of his status, there's a lot of pressure on him. And he's way harder on himself than, any of the coaching staff, any of us as teammates. And, I think it was just really just take a deep breath and just know who you are, know what your talent is and go out and show the world, And I think that's what he's been doing as of late. And then, we as teammates are supporting him through the highs and the lows, making sure that he stays even keel, and he's a leader for us.
Carter Bryant adding more on the play of Caleb Love.
Yeah, in practices, workouts, in the game, I feel like he's always been a pretty good defender, really good defender. But I think we're starting to more light is starting to be shed on it just because he's guarding some of the best players in the country night in and night out. He's doing a great job. And I think that not necessarily that he gets disrespected, but like he's a really good defender, whether it's on or off the ball. He's always engaged. He's always reading the passing lanes. He gets his hands on passes constantly. He's actually a pretty good rim protector for his size. So just seeing those things from him, and also him being the leader of this team, him doing all the little things, the dirty work, just constantly giving effort and energy on the defensive end of the ball. It gives everybody else no excuse to do the same.
Who do you put him on tonight?
The shooter. Put him back on the shoot. He locked him up last time.
Right.
You go back and look at that last game. He had that guy discombobulated. So as soon as that guy come on the court, Caleb should go walk right next to him to remind him that it's lockup season. Because that was one of the guys that I thought Caleb did a great job on. I think he understands the shooters need room because he's a shooter as well, and so he understands how to stop a shooter. He understands that they need room, and he was chest to chest with this guy. This guy could not get away from him, and he's been really showing that in basically all season, especially after he struggled early. And I think it's great for this team because, one, the guys really look up to him. Again, as I said before, they watched him play in national championships. So they look up to him, and to see him basically flip that switch and basically become the stopper for the team. Okay, I'm going a little farther. You still got KJ. KJ is the stopper, but to have a second guy putting out that type of energy along with what Jaden Bradley has, that makes me, optimistic for this playoff run.
Curtis Jones is the guy you're talking about when you mentioned the shooter. He has, over the course of conference play, been held under 10 points only 3 times. One of those was against the Arizona Wildcats, where he missed all 8 of his 3-point shots and went 1 of 11 from the floor. He also was held under 10 when they played Kansas. That was the third of the 3 games they lost in a row, and he was held under 10 points against Colorado. However, that is one game that they did win without him having to score a lot of points. He missed the game against Houston and only had 11 on 2 of 8 in the loss at Oklahoma State a little bit earlier this week. Caleb Love hit a 3-quarter court shot to force overtime here at McHale Center. Hit 2 big threes in overtime to help the Wildcats win by 11. You know that Hilton Coliseum is going to be waiting for Caleb Love.
I think he's been through the battles and the wars, so I would expect him to show up and be unaffected. That would be that better be what happens.
Yeah, how many games did he play in Cameron?
Yeah,
with a North Carolina Tar Heel jersey on.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be afraid of any environment.
Not at all. And he's reunited with his friend Keyshawn Gilbert tonight. They go back a ways. TJ Holtzberger on 2 of the best players on the floor, 2 best point guards, or at least guard off guard, being guys that know a little bit about each other.
I think these guys, whether it's workouts or
being from a certain area or whether it's someone you encounter on the AAU circuit or whatever, they are very small circles. I think the best players seek out the other best players to work out against, to play against, to get in the gym with, to get shots up with. And so I think you build those relationships, and when guys see how other guys work, there's a respect that can be gained for one another because you see the time and the craft that people put into it. So I know that just on the coaching side of it, it's very small circles. We're around the same people all the time, so you get to know people, on a deeper level, because when you're on the road recruiting, they're in the same gym and you're having dinner or lunch or whatever that may be, so you get to know people better. And I know it's the same thing is true, for our players and specifically regarding, their relationship.
St. Louis might be a St. Louis love-in tonight in Ames, Iowa. All right, that is a look at what Caleb Love has got going on. Let's get in real quick our best bets before we get out of this segment.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, guys, let's get through these quickly here. Arizona +6. I like that number tonight. I like Arizona +6. I'm going to take that. U of A, and I'm going to take the 6.
Yeah, I got to take the 6, man. It's hard to beat Iowa State at their home, but yeah, I got to take that 6.
So if you go back, guys, I've never once picked against Arizona this whole year. There wasn't a single game. Duke at home, that was a win. UCLA neutral, that's a win. All their home games, they had Houston at home. Every single one of those was winnable. This game, I think they lose. I don't think that Arizona can get a win today. They can, of course. But I think the energy in Hilton and the way that Iowa State on a 2-game losing streak, really needing a big win, and after what happened in them and McHale, I love the way Arizona's playing right now, and I just think that's going to be a super hyper-motivated Iowa State Cyclones team. So I think Arizona is obviously in it till the end, but I think Iowa State pulls out a close game and Iowa State wins by 2 or 3 points.
All right, so you're taking Arizona plus the 6.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I think, but what I'm saying is Iowa State will win this game. I've yet to predict an Arizona loss on the season. So, obviously I'm taking Arizona, keeping it close, Arizona in the 6, but I think Arizona does not win today.
All right, it's been a long day. Try not to confuse.
We need that 6, though.
And you said 150?
151.5.
Yeah, I'll say just over. Two really good offensive teams. Two really good offensive teams.
I was gonna go over as well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, those are your best bets.
Those are today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the bird.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Three-way fiasco in Flagstaff.
Hurt in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson.
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between, you'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Most plumbing problems start with a 4-letter word: drip, leak, clog. Whatever your plumbing problem might be, you can trust Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to deliver fast, honest, and reliable service by a plumbing expert that will find the right solution for your plumbing problems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Discover Rocking K, a community designed by nature, built for you. Embrace the beauty of the Rincon Mountains' high desert foothills. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park. Bordering Saguaro National Park, Rocking K is conveniently located to our region's major employers and nationally recognized Vail School District. Tour 10 model homes by 4 award-winning builders and discover why more people are calling Rocking K home. LiveRockingK.com. Proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. It's time now for us to take you down to front row of the arena. A view from the courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Arizona and Iowa State on the horizon in Ames, Iowa. What better person to give you a view from courtside than a lady who's, maybe doesn't sit courtside, but is about as close an vantage point on Arizona athletics as anyone. The athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. We had a chance to catch up with Desiree. And she is on the road in Ames. She's going to be on the road quite a bit this month. How long is she going to be on the road?
I hope I'm not home until middle of April.
There you go.
And I hope that my last trip will be in San Antonio, and and also seeing the women's. And I hope I have that wonderful opportunity where you're going back and forth from a men's Final Four and a women's Final Four.
Desiree Reed-Francois, athletics director at the University of Arizona, is joining us. A big hire this week. Mike Smith has been hired to lead the Wildcat Club. He comes over from Texas A&M. What's his role going to be now within the athletics department?
All of our hires are big and important. And so this one he's our Chief Development Officer, and we're really looking forward to welcoming he and his wife Ellie and their son Tripp, and has a really strong portfolio in development engagement. And as you know, with revenue share, with all of our opportunities, fundraising is critically important. And this is one big piece. And, it's looking forward to finalizing our staff and moving forward. This first year has been about stabilizing the athletic department and building that strong foundation. And I think we've said it before. And while we hung a banner for triathlon, when I was in school here, winning national championships, that was more the standard than an aberration. And I cannot wait to continue to build on that championship path and move into the future. That foundation is critically important. So looking forward to the future.
Now, you mentioned, obviously, revenue share. We've talked about that a number of times in our conversations as we begin to kind of move into this new aspect. So what are you finding out when you make a hire like Mike Smith? Are you looking for somebody that shares the same vision of how that should work? Are you looking for people who maybe have a different idea of how, or different aspects of how this is going to work and how schools need to be successful to really jump out of the gate with this revenue sharing phase of college athletics life that we're about to enter into?
So it's a really good question. Whenever we hire anyone, and anyone we bring on, I always interview. We talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy. And for us, high character is selfless, smart, and hardworking. And you got to have those. That's just the baseline. Like, that's what we look for. And obviously, you have to have an expertise. And but the character piece is not something that you can fake. So we look for people who are going to be great teammates. For this particular position, we were looking for great fundraisers, a good leader, a great leader, and a great teammate. So we're excited about that. But no matter what, you got to have that selfless, smart, and hardworking mentality for all of our positions, because that's what great teams have.
It is your view from courtside, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Pleased to be chatting with the athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. And Desiree, the last home game against the Utah Utes, a couple of special guests were in the house from Diamonds Children's Medical Center, their annual prom king and prom queen, as we are getting to that time of the school year. Did you get a chance to meet these two impressive young individuals?
I did, and the game was great, and I was really proud of our team. But what will forever leave a mark on my heart is spending time with Billy and Desada. We took them over to give high fives to the team as they're coming out of the tunnel onto the court for the second half. And so I got a chance to talk to them both and spend a little time. And, one thing that was pretty cool is Desada and her friends. She's a high school senior, and I asked her who her favorite player was. Surprisingly, it wasn't Jackson Francois. I was like, I know, right? But no, in all seriousness, she said she and her friends, they really liked Caleb Love. And so I made sure that as Caleb was about to go run onto the court, and thank goodness he had such a great game, or this probably would have been my fault. But I was like, Caleb, I need you to go say hello. And he's like, absolutely. And so he went over and said hello and just, spent time with her as he's about to run onto the court. And it was so cute seeing she and her friends and how they just, how special that was for them. And, anytime that in athletics, we're in the memory-making business, and that was a memory that I was very blessed to have seen and just spend time with. And we took our beach volleyball team was there as well, and I wanted our beach volleyball players to meet her and, just see an example of true bravery. So it was a special night.
Now, you mentioned beach volleyball. Last year was the first time you had a chance to really get a sense, because I don't think you guys had beach volleyball in Missouri, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Surprisingly, no. Columbia, Missouri, I think it's probably 12 degrees right now, did not have beach volleyball. So no, they are. It is so much fun.
Does it take long to get up to speed on maybe a sport you don't know how to manage it, how to kind of weave it into how you run an athletic department?
I know a little bit about rowing, and I know a little bit about every sport. But in all candor, what I'd look for when I'm talking to our student athletes, I always tell them that I can never make you a better beach volleyball player or a better football player. What I care about is the 50. And what I mean by that is, let's just take football. A student athlete graduates, say, at 22, and let's say they play in the NFL for 4.3 years, which it used to be the average. And so that takes you to 26 years old. If your life expectancy is 76.6 years, you have 50 years to impact the world. And that's what I care about. That's what I want to get to know. That's what I want to help student athletes find how they're going to impact the world. How are they going to impact their communities? Like, what do they love other than their sport? Because like we've talked about so much more. Our student athletes are so much more than just numbers. They all have these hopes and dreams and have incredible stories. And I was kind of showing off a little bit about my beach volleyball, about Stetson and us not being ranked. Really, I had a secret weapon in that, David. Olivia Rubio, I had my Party of Five luncheon, and right before this, Olivia Rubio, and the last name may sound slightly familiar to you. Yeah. She was part of the Party of Five luncheon group, and she was giving me a really good scouting report on beach volleyball this year. So that's why I know a little bit about beach volleyball right now.
We're chatting with the athletics director of the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. Let's pause 10 seconds and allow for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden, I am David Kelly. Wildcats and Cyclones tonight, 7 o'clock tip-off in Ames, Iowa. Again, joined by the athletics director of the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois, with your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona now for more than 25 years. And Desiree, a much more calmer night on Wednesday at McHale Center than what we experienced on Saturday. The situation at the end of the game with the derogatory chanting coming from the Zona Zoo. I want to go back with you. When did you learn of the situation? Were you aware of what was happening as it was happening that night at McHale Center? And what are some of the steps that you guys are going to take to hopefully make sure that an incident like that does not transpire again in the future?
Thank you. I was not aware of it. In all candor, how I learned about it was I had already headed into the tunnel when the chant apparently broke out. I went up. Someone came and told me a fan threw a water bottle and threw a soda at the BYU team, and so I went over to the BYU basketball program to go apologize for our fans' behavior, and then when I was doing that, and they said, "And did you hear about this chant?" And I said, "No." So then I said, "Well, I really apologize. That's not how. I'm a proud alum of this university, and I'm embarrassed, and I apologize for how its words aren't enough, but I apologize for how we represented ourselves and how that may have made you feel." So then Nate and I spoke and heard about the chant more, and I said, let's make sure we got to apologize. And so we did. One thing we missed is we apologized to BYU and their fans and student athletes and coaches and staff. And, I spoke to their head men's basketball coach, and I spoke to Coach Holmo and apologized directly to them, as did President Garamella. And then we also issued a public apology, but we should have mentioned the entire LDS church. So for that, we missed that night. I think we put out our statement like about midnight, but we should have included that. So I missed on that. But really, it's not who we are. like the University of Arizona, like I said, I'm an alum, and that's not who we are. So again, we can and we will do better. In terms of steps that we've taken, right away we reported the incident to our Office of Student Conduct and our Office of Institutional Equity, and I know they're conducting a formal investigation. We also made sure, and the student that we knew that was involved, I would give our band director, I really appreciated his approach and making sure that student was suspended right away. The fan that threw the water bottle and soda at the BYU people, we pulled their tickets for a year. You can't do that. Like, that's not who we are. So we took away their tickets, and then we also had meetings beginning on Monday with Arizona Zoo and our student leaders, and making sure that we had that conversation about accountability at the University of Arizona and our athletics program and our students and our whole school. Like, that's just not who we are. So again, it's been a good learning opportunity for all of us. And we also looked at our game management. Like, did we not have enough of a presence on that court? And so if you notice the Utah game, we made sure that we had a presence at that handshake line and near where our students were. And it's and apologies, like, they don't take away the pain that the incident inflicted, but we had to start there. And we were just embarrassed. And we're gonna keep learning from this, and we're gonna keep making sure that we're refining our processes and having open dialogue to make sure this doesn't occur again.
Well, it's good that I know that a number of people were wondering if you had identified people. It sounds like you did identify some of the folks that were involved in that, and there have been repercussions. So that's definitely good to hear on that angle.
Yeah, just to be clear, the investigation is occurring. The one we found out about one, and so our band found out who it was, and they suspended immediately. But the Office of Student Conduct is handling the investigation.
Outstanding. Desiree, we appreciate the opportunity to chat with you and hear your thoughts on that and everything that's going on with Arizona athletics. How many bags are you taking on the road with you? Are you packing multiple suitcases, or are you one of those people that can get everything into one bag? Because I am not that person. I have to have like 3 bags.
I do try, and I do some strategic folding, I must say. So, yes, this is a wonderful problem to have, and I'm so excited. I love March. I love this time of year.
She is Desiree Reed-Francois, beginning her second year as athletics director at the University of Arizona. Desiree, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
And that is your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Now 2.2 left, 3-point lead for Iowa State. Wildcats will inbound the ball. They need a 3 to get to overtime. Del Orso running the line. Get it off to Love. Love, midcourt. Shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime. From backcourt, Caleb Love has just tied this game at 71. Bedlam at McHale. 5 more minutes of basketball, and we deserve it.
And the Wildcats would win that game by 11 points. The rematch is tonight, coming up for you in less than an hour, about 45 minutes from tip-off tonight at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. Number 22, Arizona, 9th-ranked Iowa State. Final stages of Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Got a whole lot to get into this segment. Let's first hear from the head coach of the Iowa State Cyclones, TJ Olsberger, asked about Arizona-Iowa State Part 2.
More than anything, it's about us playing to our standard and doing what we need to do well. So, again, as I mentioned, there's all the things of we want to play great on Saturday at Hilton. Yep, we should have won the game last time. We didn't finish the job, of course. All that, whatever should be built up internally, even more than the opponent, we should have personal pride. We should have pride in what we do and a job well done, even before we can worry about the 10% of preparation for Arizona. So we're putting a tremendous emphasis and focus on our daily habits, what we need to do, how we need to play, and then also, combining that with, yes, it was a game on the road that we had within reach that we should have won and we didn't finish the job. And so, hopefully our guys use that the right way to give us the best chance to be successful.
All right, Texas Tech won today on the men's side, so they have 13 wins. They're 13-5. The Wildcats 13-4, so a win keeps them a game ahead of Texas Tech for the number 2 seed at the Big 12 tournament. Houston will have the number 1 seed. All of that, though, does not matter to Toby Awaka and Carter Bryant.
The only thing in our heads right now is win out the regular season. People have to get caught up on all the standings and stuff, but I think, you're trying to win every game no matter what, so just stay locked into that.
Yeah, just trying to get better day by day, practice by practice, not try to look too far ahead. Just try to learn from our mistakes and just keep moving forward.
3 games left to go in the regular season. 2 of those are going to be in hostile environments. Tonight in Ames, Iowa. Next Saturday in Lawrence, Kansas. But as Tommy likes to say, hey, we're built for it.
We're not asking for things to be comfortable. Because, I know Saturday, it's going to be very uncomfortable. So we better be comfortable in an uncomfortable environment. And for the rest of the season, I think that's just how it's going to be. So I thank the Big 12 for that. I honestly do, in a good way. Not that we didn't have stressful moments in the Pac-12, but we've had a good stretch of them here, and I think we're going to be better for it in the long run.
All right, on your Goldberg and Osborne Injury Lawyer scoreboard, it is final in Tempe. Arizona women's basketball knocks off the Sun Devils 71-59. Point Arizona in the Territorial Cup Series. Wildcats now lead the Territorial Cup Series 5.5-3, although the Sun Devil swim team's likely to pick up 2 points once that is completed up in Seattle today. They were leading on both the men's and women's side, so it will be much tighter. Big games for Lauren Swan, 6 of 8 from 3. Wildcats made 15 3-point shots today. Remember we said that this was a team that, they don't really shoot threes, but they can make threes at times. Well, today was their best day. 15 of 28, 54% from 3 for Arizona. 6 of 8 for Lauren Swan, 3 of 7 for Jada Williams. Paulina had a couple, and Isis had 2 of 3. Katarina Knezevich went 2 of 4. Let's hear from the head coach, Adia Barnes. Their team will now be the 8th seed, so they'll get a single bye at the Big 12 tournament starting next week in Kansas City. Adia with Derek Palmer after the game on Arizona Sports Enterprises.
Our 4th in a row, we had a goal to win all 4 games at the end of the season, and we did that. And we won in different ways in different games, so I'm proud about that. This was a hard environment.
What does this do to the Big 12 tournament? You don't have to win 4 in a row now to get the automatic bid. That, again, kind of pie in the sky talk it might seem right now.
We already know we're playing Thursday, the winner of
Yes.
Houston, Colorado. I think for us, it gives us a few more days.
Yeah.
It gives us some time to rest. It makes that Colorado game big, but it was big anyways. I think we just are setting ourselves up for success, and we're now going into the Big 12 tournament winning 4 in a row. So I think that's a really good accomplishment for us, and I think we're playing good. We're feeling confident. Different people are stepping up. And remember, this is all this with knowing Monte is going to be out for the rest of the season.
Okay.
So I think all of that is really good. And Isis didn't play her best game today. Brea did not play good today. She did some good things. She wasn't playing a lot, and Sky played a bad game today. So all of that, other people can step up, and that's what I mean about finding different ways to win with different people. We couldn't have done that before.
12 turnovers in the final game
and
on the road.
I think 4 or 5 were Jade.
But I mean, still just that compared to the November.
No, it's way better.
And with the weird rotations that you have coming in and all that stuff, it feels like a really good number.
It is really good.
All right. Well,
Can
we say just like you drew it up?
Yeah, no, we can't say that yet.
All right, thank you, Coach.
It's never how we draw it up.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealer that is different.
All right, big win for the ladies up there in Tempe today. Keys to the game, I'll start off. I think dominating the glass is going to be the key to this one tonight for the Wildcats. I want to see plus 10 on the boards for the Wildcats over Iowa State. And speaking of making threes, make 10 threes. How about a 10? Let's just put everything on the 10s tonight for Arizona. 10 plus on the boards, make 10 threes. Give us back-to-back under 10 turnover games for Arizona, coming off the 7 turnovers against the Utah Utes. Force 15 or more on the other side. Iowa State generally loses when they don't take very good care of the basketball. We've seen that. And I'll throw one more in there. Hold them under 40% shooting on the game. If they don't make shots, at least at volume, they have tough time this year winning basketball games. Kelvin.
Iowa State is 14-1 at home. I think they're a different team when they play at home. Expect the dogfight, just like the players were saying earlier. Expect the dogfight from these guys. Need Caleb to get going early. I say 10 points in the first half. I just think the guys just play so much better. They said that too. They play so much better when Caleb is playing well offensively and enjoying himself. And my last one is have to take care of the ball. You don't want any live ball turnovers to turn into pick sixes.
Yeah, they lost the BYU game not because of a call, but because of dumb turnovers in the first half, guys. So you have to keep it simple, especially against this Iowa State team that's very hungry for a big win, coming off of 2 losses. So no dumb turnovers. Keep it simple within the offense. Don't throw the ball all over the court. And I'd say less than 10. That's a super clean game. It's going to be a very hostile, intense environment. I'm not sure that number will stick, but that's what ideally we'd like to see. And obviously, 15 or more assists is the same exact scenario. You want to run that offense, run that Tommy Lloyd style, and find each other because that's the best version of Arizona basketball. Fight for rebounding position. They're going to be very intense. It's going to be very intense. All loose balls, all 50-50 balls. Both very good rebounding teams. Arizona win the rebounding battle by 5. Potentially 10. I think that Arizona has a good chance doing that. And that's the second best offensive team in the conference, guys. We know about their tough nose. They like to get in the passing lanes and that whole thing, but they shoot 48% DK from the field. They average 80 points a game on the season. So I think even something close to 44, 45% and under 70 points. You got to hold that team down below their scoring average if Arizona wants to win in Hilton today. Those are my keys versus the Cyclones.
All right. That's what we think the Wildcats need to do to win tonight in Ames.
Wildcat fans, those are our keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Let's give you the starting lineups for tonight's contest for your Arizona Wildcats.
Let's take a look at what happened around the rest of the country. The college basketball scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, starting lineups for tonight's game. And your starting lineups are brought to you by Rocking K. Rocking K is a master plan community designed by nature. Jaden Bradley, 6'3", junior out of Rochester, 11 points, 4 assists, 2 steals on the season. Caleb Love, 6'4", fifth-year guard out of North Carolina. Your transfer from North Carolina out of St. Louis, 16 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds for Caleb Love. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6", guard out of Melbourne, Australia, averages 8 points and shoots 40%, 3-point field goals. Henry Vasar, 7-foot sophomore forward out of Estonia, 9 points and 5 rebounds. And Toby Awaka, 6'8", junior forward out of Hyde Park, New York, 9 points and 8 rebounds. That's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks to Kelvin Ifan. Thanks to J.W. Madden. Thanks to Desiree Reed-Francois and John Walters. Coming up next, it's number 22, Arizona, and number 9, Iowa State. We'll talk to you after the game. Bear down, Arizona. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's, Aaron Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your